All right, welcome back to another part analysis on GPUSD. So, without wasting much of our time, I want to briefly explain what we are currently seeing on the chart. So, I don't want to waste much time here. So, what we are currently looking at here, we are looking at GPUSD from the daily time frame. So, I just want to break down the chart for you. What I'm currently looking at, what I'm expected to do in the market. Now, when you come to the market, the first thing you want to do in the market is you want to be able to figure out the current direction of the market. Now, men looking at the structure of the market from the daily time frame, without no argument, we can be able to, men looking at the structure of the market without wasting much of our time, we're able to figure that the market is trending to the upside from the daily structural view. We don't need to scale down to either higher time frame or go to any other time frame to be able to pinpoint the exact direction. What we want to work with is the current direction the market is trending to. That is what we want to work with, that no further stress ourselves. Now, I don't want to go to the historical price action. I just want to look at the current structure of the market. Now, looking from the current structure, what we are seeing here that is obvious. You can see that the market is trending to the upside. Now, this movement here that I'm pointing out with the mouse is like more like a linear movement to the upside, but we can see that there's a bit of pullback to the downside. So this is the origin of the bearish push to the downside. So this is about, in our focus, we don't want to look for trade or entry. We want to look at the structure. We want to study the structure. Now, from the daily time frame, this is a base. We had a push here. We had this minor bearish push before we have this aggressive bullish push to the upside. We have this move again. We have this push up. So now we can see that the structure is like from this daily time frame, we can see that it's kind of creating structural high, structural low, structural high, structural low, structural high, structural low, but which is not clearly obvious here. But see it, you can still be able to pinpoint the overall flow of the market, that this market is trending to the upside. Now, what we still want to observe here is, once we be able to figure out that this market is trending to this, we want to be able to at least pinpoint exact level of obstruction that is going to interrupt the flow of the market, level that is going to serve as obstacle to the move as it's trending to the upside. That's one of the things we want to still look at in the market. Now, from the look of things, I'm seeing a level of, this is more like a level of let me call it, from at this point, like a supply. Now, the reason why I'm sick regarding this market as a bullish market, because it's based on my trading style. Because if you observe from here, this is a low, this is a low. We are more of working with the current trend of the market, not this is, hold on, this is a low. Now, this is a low, this is high that lead to this low, this is high, this high here that lead to the break or structure to the downside. All together, this is the high that lead to the break or structure. Now, if you are looking at this structure here, so if you are reading, you can see this move here. If you are looking from the daily structure, you can see that this move here, this is the high that lead to the break or structure. So now you can see that the price is still within the daily. This is the base of the low. So we can likely say that the market is within a trading range, within this level here, this up, Price is within this range here and here from the daily structure. Now see it, hold on. Now if we come to the, and there's something I really want to point out, this video is very important to me. Now if you come to the, now we will observe initially I was looking at the structure from the daily time frame. Now if we scale up to the weekly time frame, this is what we are seeing here. We have a structure here. Looking from here, this is a high, a low. We had a break. This is weekly break. Are we together? This is a weekly break at this point. The most important thing, please listen carefully. I will measure it here. This is a weekly break. Now we have this impulsive push to the upside, and this is the weekly. This is the highest point as far as I've ever got to. This is the weekly structure. Hold on. Now this is the highest point. Now we can see that this push here, what we are seeing here is we had a bearish push, which is in form of retracement. Within the weekly trading range. Now our focus here is we are not going to place trade. Now we are not placing trade from the weekly time frame. Now that we want to know the overall direction the market is moving, and also we want to be able to pinpoint the level we are taking trade from, and also that putting some criteria into consideration. We want to place trade in a way that we want to, based on our trading style, we want to go in and come out. We don't want to hold trade for weeks or days. That's why most of the time we scale down to the lower time frame, still putting the higher time frame in consideration, so that we'll be able to take trade, at least get out of the trade within a day or 2 days. We don't want to trade the overall structure. Now if you look at this structure from the higher time frame, what we have here is we have this push, a retracement, a push, pull back, a drop. Now we can read that this is more like a pullback. Now we are having a retracement leg. This is more like a pullback within the weekly structure. But now what we are more focused on is the current direction. What we have here, this is a pullback, right? Pullback, or maybe pullback, it can lead to full trend reversal. But now the reason why our focus is within this place, because this will take weeks of price action. Now if you are going to wait for this level, whether if it's going to reverse from here, because it's more like we are waiting for weeks of price action. But we don't want to wait for weeks of price action. We want to focus on this move here. We want to focus on this leg here. This is the leg that we want to focus on, this move, because this is weeks of price action. So within these weeks of price action, we want to be able to tell the daily flow. Within the daily flow, we want to be able to tell the hours within the day, how the hours of the price action is playing at. So this is our concentration, and which is the current motion of the market, movement of the market. That's why our focus is on this leg. Now if we scale down, we're going to see how this 4 hour, now if we scale down to the daily time frame, we're going to see how this weekly structure is more like trending to the downside. This is the lowest point I got to. So let's go to the daily time frame. So I don't want to complicate this chart here. Hold on. Now, this was the daily structure I that I map. Now we said from the listening carefully. Now I said from the daily structure what I map. So what I have here is, now if you listen carefully, I said from the weekly time frame we having structure that's more like pushing to the downside, like weekly retracement, but we cannot wait for the weekly. It's taking weeks of price action, meaning we are going to wait for, if you are looking at the structure from the weekly time frame, we are going to like be expecting our price action of trading, our pattern of trading based on week, maybe wait for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but we don't want to trade structure like that. We want to trade the weekly structure. We want to trade lower time frame structure so that we're able to get in, get at. And also this structure that we are trading, the lower time frame structure that we are trading, we want to sync it with the higher time frame structure, because the higher time frame has more momentum of controlling the market. So we want to make it make it in sync with the higher time frame structure for us to trade. Now we have this is the high, the weekly high, right? Now this is the highest point. We have a push down, we have a push up, and what do we have here? We have a break or structure. Now we are still expecting the weekly trading range. Now this is the base of the weekly trading range. We are still expecting to push down, right? But within the structure we can still figure out. Now we can figure out when the retracement has come to end. Now lower time frame tell us, I've made a video before, it gives us earlier notice of when the market is reversing or coming for a pullback. Now this is complicated retracement reversal. Why did I say it's a complicated retracement reversal? Because this double bottom is appearing at a empty space. I'll say explain better, because the reversal here is not in line with the previous lower low. Now there's no double base, it's not creating a double base like I think I've explained a concept like that. Situation whereby it's forming at the previous lower low, which is creating a double bottom reversal point are in confluence with the previous low. But this one, it breaks below to form its own pattern. Now within now syncing this with our previous knowledge is creating a new pattern. Now you can say that, let me remove this here, like I'm mapping the demand level. Now we can see that this move here it was a move that leads to the break of structure, right? Now how do we know that this push here is going to break above this high, or if we get to a point it will push to a certain level? This move here, it will push to a certain level, maybe probably here, and push down again before taking overall before taking the overall daily retracement reversal, or this is the daily retracement reversal. Now our focus is not on this. Now this is a higher time frame structure. As I've explained before, our approach of trading is not to catch this big impulsive move, because we're going to wait for days of price action. Now if you are trading this structure. At least what we are expecting now, we should be expecting like probably we should be looking for, see, applying our concept, we're looking for level of supply around this level, around this level. Yeah, yeah, hold on. This thing. Won't get. Hold on. So we should be expecting the reversal to occur here, and this is more like a full daily action. Now we are not waiting for daily price action, reversal. Yeah, we want to look at the daily current trend. Our focus is the daily current trend. Our focus is on the daily current trend, which is the daily, what direction the daily market is moving into. Are we together? So that we'll be able to, we want to focus, we'll be able to get in and get out within a specific day, or within a specific period in a day, or within interval of 1 or 2 days. Now since we have this, now the daily time frame is telling us the current trend of the market is to the upside. Now one thing we know that the current trend of the market is to the upside. One thing we know that the market will never move linearly to the upside. It moves in a zigzag pattern. Now from the daily time we can see that the market is pushing to the upside, which is giving us a form of linear structure to the upside. Now the daily time frame gives us our directional bias. Now one thing we want to do here is, within the daily flow, we want to study the daily flow to be able to pinpoint. Once we able, daily time frame is telling us that the market is trending to the upside. Now we are taking maybe the last person, you lock the window. Yeah. Thank you. So what I want to point out here is, since that this video is taking long, so what I want to point out here is, since we have already know that this is the bullish push, the next thing we want to do is a bullish push. The next thing we want to do, we want to scale down to the lower time frame. What is the next time frame? We want to go to the 4 hour. Or before the 4 hour, this is something I want to point out. Before the 4 hour, sorry. Before the 4 hour. Hold on. Before the 4 hour. Before the 4 hour. Let me point out something. Now before the 4 hour, since we've been able to figure out that the daily time frame is giving us a bullish push to the upside, what we want to know is the structure. How is the daily time frame structure is building up? Now if we closely observe here, we can see that we had a bullish push. This is upward movement. The bullish are more strong in this market. So we have a push here. We have a minor bearish push. We have this aggressive bullish push. We have this minor bearish push, we have a push. Now we have this period of daily consolidation. Now our focus is on this move here, this level. I hope you are together. Our focus is now on this level, and this is our level of focus now. So what we want to see here is we want to study the structure. Now I can see, based on experience, I can pinpoint the structural low, structural high from the daily time frame, but I want it to be an obvious one. Now this is the first low, this is the second low. Now we have this. Let me remove. We want to focus on what is currently at the peak level, since we already know that the market is trending to the upside. Let me remove this clips. So what we have here is we have this low, we have this low, we have a bit of high. Now let's get down to the forward, not to complicate things here. Okay. Hold on. I believe we are together. Now this is the base of the bullish push. Don't forget. So what we have here is we have structure that is pushing up. We have a high, a low, a high, a low, a high. Now without wasting much of our time, as I've said earlier, what we have here is we have this low here. What is the next thing we anticipate? We anticipate a break or structure to the upside, right? We expect a break or structure to the upside. Now we have this. Once we have this push here, we break structure, but once we add a break or structure, we can see the market a little bit. Once we add a break, what do we anticipate? We anticipate a retracement. This is, remember, this is a daily direction. Now within this daily direction, we want to look at the structure to take advantage of, be able to get in and get out of the market on time, right? So we had this is the base, and we had this a bit of consolidation right about it. So we're going to take this as this. So we have this push, like kind of consolidation. We have this overall push here. Let me take this one out too. So what we have here is this is the now this is the high that price go to, and this is the setting push to the down level. Now we said this is a protected low, this is the lowest point. Now remember, this is the flow of the 4-hour structure. This is the flow that make up the daily structure. Now we have this push to this level. What do we anticipate? We anticipate a retracement. Now we have a sharp linear retracement, before this push to the upside. Now we can see here that the market is still strongly bullish. The daily structure is pointing to the upside. Now we can see the internal structure that built up to form the daily structural directional trend. Now the purpose here is based on our trading style. The goal is here is once we're able to now we trade structure. So now within the structure, we don't want to buy high. We want to wait. Once price have break structure to the upside, what we want here is we want to be able to pinpoint, we want to figure out, we want to now hold on. We want to figure out our trading range. At this point, let me remove this. At this point, this is our trading range. To remove this, not to remove token, not to put confusion. And this is our trading range. Once we've been able to figure out our trading range, which is from this base to this point, and let me map it out here. This is very vital. So this is our base. If we accept it, if this is our base, hold on, this is our base. Within the move that look like a retracement on the weekly time frame, which might call retracement or a direct weekly retracement reversal, that which is pointing up. Now, as it's pointing, as it's moving, even though it's on the weekly safe, there's a certain, if we conclude that it's a weekly retracement, there's a certain level it will reach before it will push down, but which it has not gotten to that level, which is this base. Now, if from the weekly, how do we conclude? It will completely break above this level before we can know that there is a weekly retracement reversal, but it has not gotten to that level of aggressive push to the downside to continue the weekly retracement. Now it's pushing in that direction, so we want to trade in that direction, which is the daily is pointing. Now the daily define the weekly pullback. Are we together? The daily define the weekly pullback. Now the daily is telling us that the weekly is pointing to the upside. Now, based on structural confusion, we can still say that the weekly is retracing. That daily point direction is a retracement, except it breaks a certain structural level. Now, because it's a higher time frame, we are going to wait. Like we are trading from the higher time frame, we are going to wait for days, week. If we are looking at, we are going to wait for weeks before we can see if truly it's pullback or break or structure. But we don't want to trade something like that. We want to go in and out within a short period of time. Now, coming to the weekly give us that sharp direction, but with that sharp direction, we don't want to also trade the weekly, because it takes us days because the weekly in line with the daily in line with the weekly. So if we are trading the weekly, we are going to trade. If we are trading the weekly, we'll be taking our trade from the daily. But if we are trading the daily, we're taking our trade from the 4 hour. So since we are trading daily, we want to take our trade from the 4 hour. More simplify to the 2 hour, 1 hour. I'll talk about that. Now the daily is giving us that form of weekly retracement. Okay, the weekly daily is giving us bullish push. Now since the daily is giving us bullish push, what we want to do here is, now within this bullish push, how is this structure? Now market does not move. The next thing we want to do here, the market will never move linearly. So we want to study, we want to go to the lower time frame, 4 hour, to know how this daily is building up, like, because the daily is a summary of the lower time frame. So we want to see how it is flowing. How it's flowing. Why do we want to know how it's flowing? Because the rule said if the market is pushing up, it's bullish, you want to buy at low. How do you know that the market is pushing up? It's breaking structural levels. Now what we see here is currently the market has broken structural level to the upside. The next thing is we expect the market to retrace back to a certain key level. We look for a certain key level to take trade. Anticipate that if price come back to that level again, it will continue the bullish move again, because the daily is, because it will not move linearly. Hold on, what I'm trying to explain here is, now we have broken structure here. Now the next thing we expect, since the market will never move linearly, that principle We expect the market break structure. We expect it to push back here and up again. Are we together? So this is how we are framing it. So what we expect here is, the next thing is, since market has broken structure, the next thing we want to do here, we want to map our key level of retracement. And what I see here from the 4 hour, what I see here is the most obvious level is here. We have a level here. We have a level here. So what I'm expecting now, I'm expecting the market to push up. Since they are break structure, push. This is the most, this is a strong low because it's low that breaks structure. We're expecting the market to push down to this level before a continuation of the bullish move. Now, since we are now, after all this, we want to put our risk management into consideration, because this is higher time frame. We can't just put trade here because price can come here, go deeper. So we want to scale down to the lower time frame. And what's the next lower time frame? We want to scale down to the 2 hour, from the 4 hour to 2 hour. What we are looking at here is, we want to carefully look at the market within the trading range. This level, this bar to this bar, level, that potential level of demand that is going to push the price up. So what I see here is, I want to map them out without knowing by. This was the first from the base. I want to start from the base. We have unmitigated demand level, which is close to the lower low here. Now we see have another one. Let me see. This is mitigated. Price already filled it, so it's not necessary. Next thing, hold on. This is very important. Now we have the first zone here. Now this is one. And if you closely look at the base, you can see that there's an opening gap here. Yeah. And what I mean by ODX is, these are potential level that market might likely, if it's pushing down, might likely reverse from, might likely pull to. So that's why I'm mapping them. Most of the time I use rectangular bars to indicate them. This is one. Are we together? This is 2. This is 2. Hold on. This is 3. Now the issue is here is, now we can only place trade because of our resources. We can only place trade at one level at a time. Are we together? But we are having multiple level. Now the next challenge is, how are we going to figure out which level are we going to take trade? Are we going to take trade from the first level, the second level, or the third level? That's it. There are several levels. Now what we are looking at is the retracement move. There are several technical tools to map up trend retracement. Now we can use Fibonacci to map up, but most of the time I love to look in at level of demand. So here on the 2 hour, let's get down to the 1 hour to see again. Hold on. Now, if we come to the 2 hour, we can see that the first level is valid. The second level is still valid, while the third level is still valid. So these three level are really looking good. So that is our main level. So those are the levels that we'll be looking to place trade. As for this point, let's conclude here. So further learning, we're going to be able to pinpoint which level we're going to take trade from, either from the first level, the second level, the third level. So now what we're expecting now, what we are ought to do in the market is to wait for clear price action to play out the retracement that we're expecting. So we are going to wait till retracement come to the market. That's, we can only analyze, we cannot control the market. Thank you very much for your time. Peace out.